Hey players, as the school year comes to a close, there's only one thing left to check off your to-do list, and that's asking out your crush. Is it even worth it given that there's so little time left? I would say yes, and I'll explain how to do it right after this. There's something about the school year ending that makes you feel like it's now or never to talk to your crush. It might be because you're graduating, your crush is going to another school, or you just don't want to end the year without telling them how you feel. Regardless of what the reason is, there is a way to ask them out, but I want you to take a few things into consideration. First off, you're gonna need to give yourself a deadline. Now, the fact that school is ending is a hard deadline right there, whether it's a few days, a few weeks, or a month. What I would really suggest doing though is giving yourself a deadline before the last day of school. Nothing is more awkward than a person you barely spoke to the entire year coming up to you on the last day to confess their feelings to you and expect you to have feelings for them too. If you're walking up to your crush, confessing your feelings, and then asking them to hang out during the summer, you might end up getting a pity answer like, yeah, sure, definitely, we'll keep in touch and we'll hang out at some point. And one thing you should always remember is that if plans are open-ended like that, they're very unlikely to happen. People respond to set dates and times. It conveys a level of certainty in what you're going to be doing and when you're going to be doing it. So there's two deadlines you need to worry about: the last day of school and the day that you're willing to talk to your crush. Try to keep them spaced apart by a week or more if you can. The goal here shouldn't be to fast track things so you can be boyfriend and girlfriend before you head into the summer. It's actually to ask them to hang out in the most casual way. Since the workload is generally winding down towards the end of the school year, people are more open to the idea of hanging out after school, or at the very least, hanging out with their friends on the weekends before everyone goes away for the summer. That's why instead of approaching them to confess your feelings so that they could be your girlfriend or boyfriend, you're going to ask them to hang out just so you can chill with them for a little bit. You can ask them to hang out in a big group of friends or just you two alone, but the goal here is to be as casual as can be. The more time you spend getting to know them, the easier it'll be to transition into dating them later. And if the two of you can spend more time getting to know each other, it'll be a lot easier when the time comes for you to ask them out on an actual date because they've already gotten to know you. You can always say something like this to your crush: hey, what are you doing on Friday? I'm trying to get a bunch of people together to go get food after school. Are you down? Or, are you free on Saturday? A bunch of us from school are trying to get together to go bowling. You should definitely come. Don't force yourself to tell them how you feel just because you might not get the chance to later. Because really, what do you actually expect to happen? Do you think that your crush, who you haven't really talked to and haven't really spent time getting to know, is just suddenly going to turn around and realize that they like you just because you reveal that you like them? Walking up to your crush and saying, hey, I just wanted to say before the school year ends that I think you're beautiful and I really like you, is only going to put undue pressure on them. It's going to make them anxious and nervous and less likely to actually want to pursue anything with you because the school year is ending and there isn't any time. And speaking of time, if your crush is just too busy to hang out in those last few moments of school, you're going to have to change your strategy around a little bit. Now, this is something you should do regardless, but well before that last day of school, you should definitely tell them that you want to keep in touch and ask them for their Snapchat, Instagram, or Facebook. The thing is, you can't just keep it there. Asking for their information and saying you're going to communicate with them over it has to be tied to some kind of plans, or else you're going to become that friend that they always say, oh yeah, we'll definitely hang out, and they never get around to doing it with. As soon as you get their contact information, or if you're already friends with them on one of these platforms, definitely launch into persuading them in some way to start hanging out after school, even if it's just for an hour or at least on the weekends. Remember, you don't want to become a fair weather friend that they just added onto their friends list. You want to be active, and the best way to be active is right here, right now, before school ends. And the reason why I say to convince them to hang out with a group of people is generally because people like to see a lot of faces before they end the school year. And that might be an easy opportunity for you to get everyone together, and then once you're all together, to split off with her one-on-one to get to know her better. There isn't a lot of time left in the school year, and you want to be someone that they talk to regularly, right? You can just say something simple like, you know, I see you around school all the time, but I feel like we rarely ever talk. Tell you what, let me add you on Snapchat and I'll message you because I'm trying to get a group of people together to do something big before the school year ends. And that's where I stand on that part of the equation. But the other piece is, what do you do if your crush is just not interested in you in that last week or so of school? It's something that is very possible. Think about it. You're coming out of the woodworks to suddenly just become their friend out of nowhere. The whole school year has gone by and you haven't really communicated or built a connection with them. It might come off a little desperate. The whole year has passed by and now you want to be friends? That type of reaction can really suck, especially if they feel like they just don't have the time to invest in a new person right now, which is why it's important for you to lower your expectations. I know it sucks to end the school year having never told your crush how you felt about them, or having to spend another summer thinking about how you should have made that move, but try not to beat yourself up too much here. There's only so much you can do here to engage and talk with your crush. If they're not interested, then you just have to move on and talk and hang out with other people. Your time is extremely valuable, so don't waste those last few moments on someone who isn't going to make the most of them. Spend your time hanging out with your friends and people you care about. Make the most of your last few days of the school year. What do you think though? Are you beating yourself up thinking, how the heck am I going to ask on my crush when there's only a certain amount of days left of school? If you are, leave your comments below and we'll talk about it. The clock is ticking and the school year is winding down. If there's ever been a need for you to talk to your crush now, I think this is the best of all reasons. If you need more advice on why you need to do it, definitely check out the video over there on the side. Or you can check out the playlist right below it where I talk all about beating nervousness and shyness around your crush. Look guys, there's only so much time left in the school year, so get over your fear and just go for it. At least you could spend the summer knowing you did it. As always guys, love and peace.